This is music. This is Maid of Steel, episode 2. Welcome to Maid of Steel, a series of videos where I go through my collection of Band-Maid releases, physical and digital. And just so you know, these are not reaction videos. The first video generated a lot of comments. Some of you suggested that I go through all the songs one by one instead of just picking out highlights. And I thought that's a pretty good idea because that will probably generate some cool and interesting discussion. A lot of you also recommended other bands to check out, other Japanese rock bands, and I thought that's really cool too. As a fan of music myself and a collector of music media, I just appreciate, I'm always on the lookout looking for new music that I can enjoy and listen to, so I appreciate that for sure, and I'm sure that the other viewers also appreciate recommendations. So just keep the recommendations coming. We take everything from Stereo Pony and Scandal up until, Abigail and Defiled. So Japanese rock artists. I actually decided, inspired by that, to just do my own recommendation segment in each of these Band-Maid videos. I'm just going to recommend a release by some Japanese rock band from my collection. Let's just get started. Vigilante, Edge of Time. Progressive metal from 1999. So it has this early 2000s progressive metal vibe to it. They sing in English. Very tasty, very accessible progressive metal. If you like your Dream Theater, your Fate's Warning, your Anubis Gate, your Queensryche, I think you'll like this album. If you like Japanese rock but you've never heard progressive metal, this might be a good sort of entry point into progressive metal. And maybe progressive rock as well. Anyways, so that was the recommendation. Band-Maid. So, in the first video, we had a look at Made in Japan. And the conclusion was that while it's a pretty good and fun and enjoyable, very melodic, just a rock album with lots of elements of pop punk, some ska, lots of 90s alternative rock elements, and great vocal melodies. The conclusion was that it seems like, apart from on the vocals, all the band members are kind of holding back. It's a bit restrained. They're not given space to shine. And the style is also very different from their signature style. Now, if you read or watch interviews with the band, if you check out the songwriting credits, and a lot of you also pointed this out in the comments. One reason why the first album sounds very different from their signature style is that it was all external songwriters. And actually, external songwriters were used on the first couple of releases. And to me, as somebody with a background in underground extreme metal, that seems very strange. Not strange in a judgmental sense, just, something completely new and unheard of and something I'm not used to. But I'm thinking that maybe it's just common practice in the part of the music industry where Band-Maid kind of started out. That maybe you start out with external writers. Later on, they start writing their own music. And that's where sort of the really unique part of their sound emerges. Some of you even in your comments said that they were not allowed to write their own music on the first couple of albums. Now that is, to put it diplomatically, that is interesting. Anyways, in this video we're going to have a look at New Beginning, their second release. And I'm actually honestly a bit confused when it comes to the status of this release. Some people say it's a mini album. Some people say it's their debut full-length album. It has 9 tracks on it, and the length actually qualifies as full length, but either full length, either mini album, whatever. Now, the style is completely different on this one. This album has more of their signature style. This is probably where the signature style was born. And that's interesting because they also had external writers on this one. However, I think they brought in writers that actually understood Band-Maid as musicians, because they're all given, space to shine. There's much more of their kind of personalities as musicians in the songs, especially on the drums. The only one that I feel is still kind of held back is the lead guitarist, Kanami Tono. Sadly, she does a lot of cool stuff on this album for sure, but when you check out subsequent releases, you know that she's capable of much, much more. So she's still held back, but all the others are given more place to shine, which I appreciate. And you know what? This is from the era where other people wrote their music, but I gotta be honest, I love this album. Just full disclosure, I really love all the songs in this album. It's a great album in my opinion. And again, it's probably because the songwriters at least understood Band-Maid as musicians. There are a lot of things from this album that are carried on into their own signature style when they start writing their own music. So I think that's another sign that either the songwriters understood them as musicians, or maybe they just liked what they were doing here, the band, and they decided to keep that. I mean, either way, it's great stuff. I love this album. Let's go through the songs one by one. Thrill, the opening track, that was my introduction to Band-Maid, and I think it was the introduction of a lot of people, because as far as I understand from reading some interviews with Miku, the sort of founder of the band, the first album or mini album or whatever made in Japan didn't really do much, and they were actually sort of ready to call it a day. But the music video for the first track on New Beginning, Thrill, went viral on Facebook and on YouTube, and they gained a huge international fan base because of that video. And I understand why, because I was one of those people that I was completely sold on the band when I saw that video, just because it's so groovy and catchy and great vocal melodies. Now, the main riff is groovy, quite somewhat heavy, but really groovy. Just you can't help but getting caught into the whole thing by the riff. The overall song has a slightly funky feel, and these are the two elements that were kind of introduced on this album: the funk and the groove, and they're still like stable parts of their style. So great stuff. Slightly funky feel to this song. It has a great, cool, tasty guitar solo, just because Kanami Tono is not allowed, I guess, to shine completely. She still does a lot of really cool and tasty stuff, and that's the case with this guitar solo. And there's some really awesome vocal melodies in the chorus, some great kind of trade-offs between Miku, the rhythm guitarist and backing vocalist, and Saiki, the sort of primary vocalist. So Thrill is a great song. Groovy, catchy, memorable. I understand why it became a hit, and they had a music video for it. It's followed by a song called Freezer. This is also groovy. It's more overtly funky. There's some very cool vocals trade-offs as well in the chorus. And there's a really cool, tasty wah-wah guitar solo in this song. So Freezer is a pretty good song as well. The next song, Real Existence, they did a music video for that. And this one is a really cool song, a brilliant song. One of my favorites, along with Thrill. It starts out with a sort of a groovy, kind of almost like motorcycle rock riff, which I really like. In the verse here, you have some pretty cool some vocal lines. And of course in the chorus, some great vocal melodies as well. The drumming here is very aggressive, means awesome. And I think this is Akane, the drummer, allowed to shine, insert her own personality into the music. And one thing I really appreciate about this song is, in the bridge, in the solo, they go all out thrash metal. There's a sort of a shreddy, thrashy solo. The drum beat is thrashy. The riff is thrashy. Then they switch into some funky groove, and then back into thrash, and then into some funky groove. And I did not see the thrash part coming. So I love thrash metal, so I was completely sold on that. That's a great song, Real Existence. The next song, Price of Pride, you know, if we're honest about it, it's a pop song disguised as a hard rock song. And yeah, it's not bad. It's actually I actually like it a lot, despite the fact that it's a pop song in disguise. It has a bit of a ska feel to it as well. And what I really like about it is the main riff is phenomenal. It's inherently melodic. It has some cool pinch harmonics. And I also quite like the chorus. There's some pop effects on the vocals in the chorus. I could do without those, to be honest, but the melody I really like. It's just nice to hum along to it. The drumming is actually somewhat aggressive in the song, despite it being a pop song in disguise. But, you know, to be honest, it's a really good song. And hey, if all pop music were like this, pop music would be good. Just think about that. It's followed by a more subdued song called Arcadia Girl. It starts out with some electronic drum beats. It becomes better, actually, when the real drums kick in. There's a pretty cool funky bridge in it that I like. And the chorus is just very catchy and uplifting. So Arcadia Girl is a pretty good song. I like it. You know, yeah, there's the electronic drums, but, you know, whatever. You can live with it. I can live with it. The next one is called Don't Apply the Brake. I don't know if that's like a witty way of saying don't stop. This one has kind of an emo feel to it. This one is the one, I think, with the most pop punk elements in it on this album. Especially in the chorus. There's a kind of a nice kind of mini guitar solo, which is melodic and tasty. So, you know, Don't Apply the Brake. It's a good song. I like it. And it's the one where the pop, punk, and the emo elements are the most prevalent. Now, the next one, Beauty and the Beast, track 7. That's another song that I really love. And what's great about it is that it manages to combine funk rock with almost like power metal in the chorus. The verse is up-tempo. The whole song is up-tempo, but the verse is like funky in an up-tempo kind of manner with rapped vocals even. And then the chorus is epic. It's big. The vocal melody is just, you cannot help but sing along to it. And it's almost like power metal. And the drumming is aggressive. It's all more in metal territory as well. The drumming is great in the song. And there's a really cool groovy bridge. And again, towards the end, they go all out thrashing. Just, you know, a couple of, 15 seconds or something. And I think, again, this is just to give Akane space to do what she does really well. Aggressive, thrashy drumming. The riff is also like a thrash metal riff. It's crazy. And again, I did not see that one coming. So that was a positive surprise to me. So I love the song Beauty and the Beast as well. I love all the songs, but I love some more than others. The next one is Don't Let Me Down. That's a groove fest of a song. And it has, again, a very, very melodic, catchy sing-along chorus. You just, again, I can't help but at least hum along to it. So great stuff. And the last song is Shake That. That's another groove fest, and it's not too dissimilar from Thrill, so it's kind of nice. You start out with a groovy song, and you end off on a groovy song. Of course, you have groovy songs throughout. And this one has some awesome riffage, and another song that has a lot of metal elements in it as well, and it has a cool guitar solo. So yeah, I love New Beginning. I know they did not write their own songs here. It was before they got to do that themselves, but I still love it because I think the songwriters understood Band-Maid as musicians. It's only Kanami Tono that's not, she's not given enough, I think, space to shine in her guitar solos. Now, one thing I really like about her work throughout, even in the later releases when she's given more space to show what she's actually capable of. She never becomes self-indulgent. Her lead guitar work always serves the purpose of the song. It does not serve the purpose of her ego. And I think a lot of guitarists could learn from that. Just saying. Anyways, so I love New Beginning. There is not a lot of pop punk on it. They introduced the groove. They introduced the funk. The guitar tone is heavier. The drumming is awesome. Akane really shines here. The bass is also given more room to shine, as is the rhythm guitar. The vocals are great throughout. So it's a great album. I think their signature sound is born here, despite the fact that they have external writers. So that is New Beginning, an album I really love. I really enjoy listening to it. Next time we're going to have a look at Brand New Maid, another album I really love and really enjoy listening to. And this is where they have a song on it that they wrote themselves. So that this is kind of like a historic album in the history of Band-Maid. So that was my take on New Beginning. Next time, Brand New Maid. For now, thanks for watching.